Hey everybody, Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com to give you my thoughts on the NXT Takeover Brooklyn show. To put it in a nutshell, it was incredible. Arguably the best WWE pay-per-view of 2015 and perhaps the best WWE pay-per-view in years. I thought it was just incredible from start to finish. Almost a perfect pay-per-view, a perfect professional wrestling show. No bad matches. Everything flowed really nicely. The 2.5 hours just flew by, and it actually did go past the 11 o'clock Eastern time. But since it's a WWE network and WWE owns it, they can go past that. So it was closer to 2.5 hours, and it went by so fast. I loved it. Just one solid match after another, and the two main events completely delivered, in my opinion. Started off with Triple H in the ring doing the introduction. That was great. The crowd was, as you would expect, unbelievable. They were red hot for everything. It was like the largest indie crowd in the history of the United States. You had the fans doing the chants and applauding for every move. It was really surreal. And speaking of surreal, Jushin Thunder Liger in his first WWE match, that was something else. And just to see NXT in a 15,000 seat capacity building, I mean, really, really impressive stuff. And Liger looked good. Fun match to open with Tyler Breeze and Liger mocking Tyler Breeze with the selfie stick. I enjoyed this match. And then you had the tag team title match. The Vaudevillains are the new tag team champions. The crowd was so hot, they were chanting Blue Pants City. So that was pretty funny. This was another good match. Apollo Crews in his debut looked very impressive. I really like his finisher, the standing moonsault, just for the fact that he pulled it off so well. It looked really impressive, and I think it'll work for him as a finisher. And this guy, I mean, he's got the size, he's got the look, definitely has a lot of potential to make it big in WWE. And then we had Samoa Joe and Baron Corbin, another solid match. Samoa Joe looked really good, won the match with submission, but Corbin passed out rather than tapping out. So, he looked good in defeat here. No complaints. No real complaints on this entire show. Even the announcing was solid. There was only one point on the show that there was a noticeable mistake, and I'll get to that later. You had Stephanie McMahon come out, introduce the Divas. Sasha Banks had her big entrance with the Escalade and the bodyguards. This Divas match, Sasha Banks and Bayley, wow. I was just blown away by how awesome this match was. Sasha was working over her hands, so you had the psychology, you had the big spots. At one point, Sasha did a flip over the referee onto Bayley, who was on the outside. I just loved this match in every way. The crowd loved it. They were chanting, "This is wrestling." In my opinion, this is a definite match of the year candidate, and that is for women's wrestling. They really stepped it up. They were wrestling. It reminded me of Angle and Benoit. I mean, that's how good they were in there. I mean, that is about as high praise that I can give them. Just everything they did looked so good. And the crowd was going nuts. They were trading submissions. At one point, Sasha had Bayley in the bank statement, and Bayley was trying to reach the rope, and Sasha stomped on her hand. That was great. And then Bayley reversed it and had a reversal submission. And at one point, Bayley took a nasty fall. It looked like she landed right on her head, but she got back up. They finished the match. Bayley did this reverse Hurricane Rana, the Bayley Rana, I guess is what they call it. And then she did the Bayley to Bayley suplex and got the win, won the title. Big epic celebration. You had Charlotte come out and Becky Lynch come out, and they hugged her. And then you even had Sasha Banks give Bayley a hug, and the four of them embraced in the ring. Really cool moment. I thought that this was great. Just the whole story of the match, everything about it was perfect. I mean, one of the best women's matches in WWE history. I mean, this was right there at the top. And as good as anything that the male wrestlers have done. I would go as far to say that this was better, in my opinion, than all the John Cena U.S. title matches. And I know some people out there will disagree, but this was just so awesome and just so unique and different from the norm in WWE, and that's why I loved it so much. And then we had the main event, Kevin Owens and Finn Balor. Kevin Owens came out and talked into the camera about how he used to be a fan in the stands watching, and now he's in the main event. And you could really feel the passion with Kevin Owens and how much this meant to him to be in the main event in this match. You had a fan at one point throwing in streamers, and I guess he got kicked out, but then they let him back in, so the fans popped big for that. One criticism of the show, and you can't really blame WWE because, going in, it's hard to say for sure how people are going to react, but it felt like the people were a bit tired for this match, and with the way that Sasha and Bayley went, that should have been the final match. That should have been the match to close out the night and with that big celebration. I felt that would have been better, but this was still a great match. I mean, these guys really went at it. They were beating the crap out of each other. Balor would drop kick the ladder into Owens' face, and Owens was tossing him around ringside and through the announce table, top part of it onto his face. And then at the end, you had Balor and Owens on the top. Owens tried to suplex Balor onto the ladder, but Balor was able to knock Owens off, and Owens fell onto the ladder. Crazy bump. And then Balor did the big double stomp off the ladder and won the title. Really good match. Lots of fun. Thought it was very well paced. But still, I thought that the women's match really stole the show, and that was the match of the night. But what else can I say? At one point the announcer, the crowd was doing the Olay chants, and Owens started making fun of Sami Zayn's shoulder injury, and the announcer said that he was mocking Finn Balor. So, that was really the only noticeable mistake on the announcing. But the announcing, I mean, there was nothing with the commentary that bothered me, like what happens all the time. I'm bothered by JBL and Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler. So the announcers were perfectly acceptable on this show. And nothing else I can really critique. I mean, the only real criticism is I would have put the Divas match, the women's match on last. But all in all, this was about as close to a perfect pro wrestling show as you can ask for. In my opinion, probably the best pay-per-view of the year, with perhaps the best match of the year with Bayley versus Sasha Banks. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And SummerSlam has some very big shoes to fill and a very tough act to follow, and we'll see what happens with that. WWE has really stepped it up with the NXT brand, and they're going to be doing an NXT tour in the UK. So the NXT brand just continues to get bigger and bigger, and it's really interesting to see what happens, because this NXT brand, I mean, it's like a snowball effect. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And one has to think at some point if we're going to see some major change with the main WWE roster and the main product, Raw and SmackDown, because NXT, it's going to be a really tough act to follow. WWE has outdid themselves, and SummerSlam has really got some very, very big shoes to fill with the SummerSlam pay-per-view. And I'm really hoping that they can deliver. But NXT was great, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding SummerSlam. We have the usual news, rumors, and of course live results coverage. I will be tweeting at NoDQDOTCOM, so make sure you follow me there. And thank you guys for checking out the Twitter feed. Got lots of great responses from everybody and positive feedback. Also, follow me at Aaron Rift on Twitter, and you can follow NoDQ on Facebook at NoDQDOTCOM, and of course you can follow my personal account, facebook.com/Aaron Rift. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the latest, and let's just hope that if SummerSlam is 75% as good as NXT, it should be a very good show. But it is the biggest party of the summer, and WWE's put all this hype into SummerSlam, and I'm really hoping that it can be at the level of NXT, because NXT was just a tremendous product. And, as WWE continues to grow with it in the future, who knows how far it's going to go? Who knows if WWE will eventually do a Raw versus NXT storyline or a new brand extension. I mean, NXT, I mean, it's gone beyond your developmental league. It is its own full-fledged brand, and it's just gaining more momentum with every passing month. And the fact that they sold out the arena in Brooklyn, and I'm sure they're going to do well with this tour. And the fact that they're going to be touring in the UK now for NXT, I mean, that is huge. But I'll have more of my thoughts this week. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/NoDQCAW, and stay tuned for my thoughts on WWE SummerSlam. See you next time.